La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast. You know what day it is. Inner Wealth Podcast with David Liz. So manifest the greater this. And things all good cause I say it is. Invest in your inner wealth. Real generational wealth is mental health. It's an inside game, no toxicity. Let's talk and more listening. Ladies and gentlemen, and now introducing David McCullough, Elizabeth Holstra, host of the Inner Wealth Podcast.
La la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Inner Wealth Podcast with Dave.
And Liz, what up, dope?
What up, though?
What's good?
Man, it just seems like, the more and more I spend time on social media and looking at things like Netflix and YouTube, like my happiness decreases.
Yeah. Because
Like,
you're
have
less
you noticed
present.
that?
You're less present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I also noticed that during the pandemic, I got that happiness back. Because, as a kid, I always share with you about my childhood and how, like, I grew up on the east side of Detroit, 8 Mile area. And, I was so happy just about everything that was just 1 mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much.
Yeah.
I didn't have much in terms, again, my basic needs were more than met.
Right. Right.
But it's not like I had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Right.
In today's society, it seems like the more stuff means more happiness, but really what it means is less happiness.
More. It's just more stimulus, more space taken.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, yeah, because back when we were kids, I just remember it's just times have changed so much. Like, I used to be outside all the time playing with sticks and bugs and just being so entertained with that simple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking a walk outside, taking a piece of chalk and drawing on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that used to make me happy,
I used to marvel at things.
Yeah, marvel, right,
Yeah, you used to be amazed. I remember one time, I think I was in maybe kindergarten, and my dad showed me something. He showed me dry ice. And he showed me pouring water on dry ice and how it created this vapor, smoke. And I was so amazed at it. I wanted to take it to show and tell, right? Took it to show and tell. First of all, the first time that we did it, we took it to show and tell. By the time we went to show and tell, the ice melted.
Yeah.
So I was mad, right? Traumatized. It didn't work. So then my dad came up the next day. He came up when it was time for show and tell with the ice, and we did it. But I'm just being marveled at something so simple, so simplistic. But again, now your kids can scroll and just look at all these different things and want all of that. I had one little thing. Ooh, dry ice. Or, just, again, these small little things that's in life.
Yeah.
And we seem so out of balance. Like, all these spiritual texts talk about everything in moderation. And right now, it seems like we're at the edge of a cliff, and we're either willfully jumping off or unconsciously falling off into the abyss of stimulus porn.
That was a meme. That's a meme.
We're falling into the abyss of stimulus porn.
Yeah. Well, it's becoming an addiction, and your body, like every time, we even say it, it's time for a dopamine hit when we post on Instagram, because that's literally what happens. Your brain, you release dopamine every time you get, they're liking, they're commenting, so now your body is looking for that all the time. And when you don't have it, it's like you're freaking out now because you're addicted to that release of dopamine.
So there was a movie called The Social Experiment. You watched that movie?
It's called The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma.
What's this social experiment? Oh, no, they were just saying that this is a big social experiment.
Oh, yeah. Right.
On the social dilemma.
Yeah.
And on that movie, they made the movie about social media being bad. And that's not necessarily my point. Because it's just a tool.
Yeah, right.
how you
Right.
use the tool is always going to be up to the person
To
who
the
wields it,
user. Right.
right?
Right.
So I don't
Right.
want to demonize social media because it's great
It's
for
just
us.
it just is what it
You know, I
is.
use it really
Mm.
well in business, and I always say, if I don't have a business, if I didn't have Inception, if I didn't do what we do,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on it.
Yeah. Right.
It
I mean, I
serves no
wasn't.
point for
Exactly.
me.
Exactly. Like I looked at my Instagram the other day, and before I was even doing stuff with Inception, or before, my chef life, I would say,
Mm,
there was a little break between my modeling and my chef life. I wasn't posting. What is
yeah,
the point? There's no intention there.
yeah,
What is your intent with posting on
mm,
social media? What are you
yeah,
really posting for?
yeah.
And now, I'm posting a ton, but that's because of the business.
Well, I post to add value.
Yeah.
I was actually, it was 2017, and that's when I first really started working. I think it was maybe 16. I got on Instagram, and
Mm.
that's when I first started getting
Stepping
on
in
it.
front.
And
Right. Right.
I know I wasn't even talking. I was
Oh.
just on it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what to post.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I said, we just supposed to post pictures about our lives.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if I walk into your house and you got 1,000 pictures of you posted on your wall,
Oh, we.
what do you?
Look
What do you?
at your face.
No, seriously. Like,
Oh, my goodness.
if you literally just answer the question. If you walked into my house
Yeah.
and you saw 1,000 pictures all on my walls, what would you think of me?
You were psychotic.
You would think I'm psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do we think that's not true for what we're doing? If someone opens your phone, I seen it. This girl I know, she opened the phone. She had like 7,000 pictures, and it was all of her.
Mm.
I'm like, yo, like that's insane.
Yeah. Insanity.
No, that's sick.
It is sick. It
But
is
we don't.
sick.
We're not observing ourselves because we normalized it,
I know, and it's
and it
so
happened
not
slowly.
normal.
It happened slowly.
Yeah.
I come from the DOS era days
Mm-hmm.
when we used to play
Yeah.
Oregon Trail. You
Right.
know,
Right.
like,
Frogger. Yeah. Yeah.
like that.
That was my jam.
Frogger, like yeah, like
That was my jam.
Pong,
Yeah.
Atari. You know,
Yeah,
don't like
Pong. I
right.
remember Pong.
So then
Yeah.
AOL, I got on AOL probably 95.
Yeah.
2400 BPS.
Mm.
That's the speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me 24 hours to download AOL
Mm.
Internet Explorer at that time. So when we on there, yeah, that became the first level of social media. We were using AOL Instant Messenger and stuff,
AIM.
and yeah, AIM,
AIM,
and
I remember
you know,
that.
we talked on with people and things of that nature. But it was
Wow.
still really slowed down. You got on the internet, you know,
Can you bring yourself back to that time?
yeah.
How did you feel? I remember I used to get so excited to talk on AIM,
I was
and I'd be like, my
excited.
crush would be on there. I'd be, ooh,
I was excited.
know.
You like, and then you meet somebody like, oh, send me
Yeah.
a picture. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I ain't got
right.
no scanner.
Right. I got no scanner.
I don't have a scanner.
I know.
Like you had this big old scanner, man. Like to scan this little old picture, right?
Yeah.
Send it to somebody. Like,
I remember.
and so at that point in time, you know, that was stimulus gradually
Mhm,
building.
mhm.
Then we started getting into actual social networks.
Yeah.
Black Planet.
MySpace.
I was on Black Planet.
Yeah.
Then MySpace.
Yeah. And that's.
And those were all fine till about 2000. I say the sweet point of all this technology was probably around 2005, 2006.
Mm,
And then something drastically happened.
mm,
They invented smartphones.
mm.
And now you went from going to the computer where you would check your MySpace and Facebook here and there
Mhm,
to
mhm.
carrying it on your phone where you check it
I
and
think
see it.
wasn't it a little later
all
than
the
that? You
time.
remember like Blackberries and Sidekicks?
Oh, 2000, sorry, not
It was probably
2007,
like
it's 2010.
10,
2010.
11,
I
yeah.
had a
Yeah.
and one of your boys too next door, TC. One of the TC boys sold
Yeah.
me a Verizon not a
Was
flip
it a
phone.
Sidekick?
No,
I
it was one of the
love
ones that flip
Sidekicks.
open and you can text, but
Yeah.
it was a touch screen too.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, oh, this is supposed to mimic like the iPhone,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
No, that thing you had to calibrate it. It was nothing like an
Oh,
iPhone.
I remember calibration.
It was nothing like an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So, but then iPhone came out and it was like, oh no, we have this app where you can now check your social media at all times.
Mm.
And that's when it began.
Yeah.
That's when the addiction started. And it was so normalized because it was gradually introduced.
Dang, man.
So you became like an addict and you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Because I used to make fun of people like, oh, I'm on social media. I'm at the restaurant dipping my chicken in the ranch right now, like as a status.
Yeah.
Like who cared about that, right?
Because I remember even MySpace, like when I first started modeling, like I blew up off MySpace, right?
Mm.
But I remember I would have to go to the internet cafe in
Oh
LA
yeah,
when I used
LA.
to
Yeah.
live there, and submit my pictures and stuff at the internet cafe from MySpace.
Man,
I get leads through MySpace.
that was a bad business model.
Yo,
They were not thinking that thing like an internet cafe.
right?
You walk.
No, hey, that internet cafe saved my ass a couple
Yeah, well,
times,
hopefully they
but
made their money off it at that time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like I remember too. You had like 50,000. Then you had like 50,000 friends or something like that.
Yeah, more than that by
But
the
you know
time
what? I couldn't see that.
yeah.
I didn't see that at that
Mm.
side that meant something for me
Mm-hmm.
from you having 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Oh yeah,
even
because I met
followers.
you. Did I met you? I met
You
you
met me
before or
but
after?
I don't know.
Before,
I don't know if
think.
it was before, but still, I didn't see like, oh, you got this many friends that
Right.
this
Oh,
is
now
now
your
this
social
your
your
social capital increased,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now that's how that is. I mean, literally,
Ooh, who's in my top 5? Am I on their top 5?
like my mailman stops me.
yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
hey, don't you
Right.
got a podcast? And I'm
Right.
like, oh, hey,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
there's this new world, you know,
Mhm.
and how we see people. But again, like that gradually increased. All this technology's gradually increased. The amount of stimulus that we've taken on has drastically increased.
Yeah.
Think about, so I call it stimulus porn, as in
Mhm.
all of it is like porn.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not about just watching porn, X-ray, triple
It's all
X porn.
stimulus,
It's
right,
all
right.
this stimulus,
Yeah.
and it's like, what's
It
your
affects
genre?
yeah, it affects your brain pretty much the same way.
The same way.
Yeah.
The brain is still responding,
The
you know, same way.
Yeah, to the stimulus.
Right.
But it doesn't matter even what it is, whether it be porn, whether it
Or
be
video games.
right, food. It all
Right.
works the
Food.
same.
Right.
Mhm.
So we used to play Nintendo, and I had maybe 5, 6 games, probably more. I don't know. But now, like, you know, your son, my godson, he can
Oh my
switch
gosh.
between 20 different games.
And it's insane. I mean, yo, like so I had a friend that or we have a friend that was just in a movie, on a major network.
Mm,
And back 5-10 years ago, that person would have blew up huge.
mm,
They would have gotten so many more movie deals and just
right.
been now you're a famous actor.
Right.
But it's like everybody has their own
Everybody's doing
station
content.
now. Yeah, you can make your own movie and put it on Amazon tomorrow.
I was in a documentary on my
Yeah,
own life
exactly. Like
recently,
yeah.
you know?
So I mean,
And it was
it's
like,
just so many. There's so much stimulus out there.
Yeah.
It's lost in the stimulus.
I would be scrolling on Netflix and choose not to do anything with it. Because I call it
So-
stuck in the scroll.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even make a decision.
Oh my gosh, it happens to me all the time. That's why
Yeah.
I just gave it up. Like I don't even like to watch TV really anymore. It's just so annoying. I'm like, what do I watch? Ugh.
So since we're talking about this being an issue, and it just highly affects your mental, emotional health, because again, you're burning through dopamine
Oh
constantly.
my
Like,
gosh, and think about the kids. So they said that in the social dilemma, they said that Generation X, which is anyone that was born after 1996, right? The social media craze was introduced to these kids in middle school. And since then, I got the exact stats that they said. They said teen girls out of 100,000 admitted to the hospital every year because they cut or harmed themselves. It was stable until 2010, 2011. And after that, it exponentially increased up to 62% more for older teens and 189% for preteen girls. Since 2010, 2011. Same with suicide. Suicide rates, older teen girls, 15 to 19-year-olds, up 70% compared to back then. And then preteens, 151% since then.
So you know how we talk about trauma a lot. We're not even talking about. So that's one thing, being overwhelmed and comparing yourself. Constantly comparing yourself and feeling like
You're less
you don't match up.
Right.
I can't imagine going through middle school with social media.
These poor girls.
That
Oh my
has to
God.
be devastating.
And you're already self-conscious. Your
Yeah,
body's already
right.
changing.
You're already trying to figure yourself out.
Exactly.
You're
like,
awkward.
Exactly.
You kind of feel awkward.
You feel very awkward
Yeah.
because you're growing into your body. Your whole body's changing. You're releasing different types of hormones. It's making your brain think and trip in different ways. Like you're not stable.
Yeah.
You're not stable at that point.
Wow.
So can you imagine having Instagram and seeing these fake, like all these beautiful girls with these beautiful bodies and they're picture perfect.
Yeah.
Because of, filters or even if they're picture perfect in person.
Yeah.
But it's not for you to sit there and compare and scroll and these poor girls,
So you have an issue with the poor girls who are watching that, and then you have the issue with the poor girl who's posting it.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
a
so,
need
and
for
her
that
life,
attention.
her
Right.
life is And I'm not saying it's 100% across the board. I don't know all these people. I can't
Yeah.
make that type of judgment or a generalization. But and we worked with certain people who are influencers who have big accounts, women, and we've never posted them, who are depressed.
Oh my gosh, loops of insanity.
Yeah.
Loops of insanity they deal with on a daily basis. And
Well-
and from their Instagrams though, you would think that their lives are perfect. They're
Well, let's
flying
talk about that
private
from
jets,
your-
perfect bodies and twerking all over the place and
Well, let's
stuff.
talk about that from your end because you were
Yeah.
in that arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to always talk to you about it. And, you know, you don't want to feel like you're hating. It's just like, no, I can see how that can end up in being very
it messed
bad.
me up. It messed me up. It really,
Yeah.
really did. I mean, because really you base your self-worth upon, do they think I'm pretty? Do I look pretty enough? And then when someone doesn't hit on you or you're not getting like 50,000 DMs, it's like,
Right.
what's wrong with me?
Right.
Like, what? Is something wrong with me? Do I look bad today? Like,
And the funny thing is, women will be like, stay out of my DMs. But if we did, then you really feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, you would. You
Like, let
would.
your DMs go dry.
Right. And then you'd be like,
And why would it feel that way? One, because that if you're used to getting a certain amount of stimulus, it don't matter what it is.
right.
Withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
If you went from, I don't know how many DMs you average, but how many DMs you average, right? If it dropped and nobody started, if no man was hitting on you on a day-to-day basis and it just dropped, you would be like, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me?
You'd be like, yo, I'm about to get these butt implants.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, you even remember, because I remember back when I was like Asia raining it, and you were like, you should let me manage you. I was like, okay. I gave you my social media accounts. I gave you my Facebook.
You gave me a Facebook.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. I wanted to use your page to boost my business because you have followers, remember? And I was like, well, let me go in there and let me add some stuff. And you was like, yeah, go ahead. And you gave me your password and your inbox. And I just went in and broke all type of barriers or boundaries. I was like, man, let me see what these dudes talk about.
Yeah.
You had like, yo, I was floored.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how it was.
Yeah.
You had
Celebrities.
You had celebrities. I ain't even gonna mention no names because I don't want no shade.
Yeah.
But you had celebrities, all these people up in your inbox. You had that one guy who was talking about he's gonna kill himself if you didn't talk to you. And I called you, and what did I say?
Yeah. You were like, man, I'm sorry. You were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I was like, I'm gonna give you a hug next time I see you. And I don't never give you a hug, first of all. But I was like, man, next time I see you, I'm gonna give you a hug because this is disgusting.
Oh, and then that's what you take in too, like brain and body. You take in everything. So even when I was scrolling and not even really paying attention to those messages, you still see it. It still affects you.
Yeah.
It still goes into your brain even if you don't consciously process it at that moment. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
And so now, fast forward, is the roles is reversed. You manage my inbox.
Yeah.
And you see what's in my inbox.
God. Listen, guys, there's Inception for a reason, and there's these podcasts for a reason. Like, it's not me or you. It's not David that's going to heal you. You heal yourself.
Right.
You heal yourself. Okay?
I don't know which one is worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even about a comparing, but when I get these long paragraphs of messages coming from people who, and I get it, like people are really hurt.
Yeah.
And they listen to these messages and they're like, you got the answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do have answers.
Yeah, but
the
work is to find those answers within yourself.
Yeah, the gassing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The vomiting, the emotional vomiting in my inbox is not gonna help.
No.
You need a therapist to be able to gas off.
Yeah.
And you need some of the right tools to be able to help process.
Exactly. And that's why
through
there's
all that,
Inception.
right?
That's why there's Inception.
But we both have seen that. And again, I have to guard myself.
Right.
I'll send you stuff and you be like, do I have to read this? And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, because immediately you just like.
It's too much because we're already filled up. We're already living in this Western culture, which is already sped up. We work these things. We have Inception and we do all of this stuff. So to take in someone's 10-page gas off moment, it's like, we love people.
But we don't have the space.
No space.
No, I don't have
it gives me immediate anxiety when I see that. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and we want to help, but we just again we have to be able to protect our own energy and know again we're going to respond to you in a way of getting you to what you need.
Right, right.
But let's talk about too. So we talked about the models and what that does to the brain and things of that nature. But also let's talk about like what it does to the brain in terms of your ability to think critically,
Mm-hmm.
critical thinking skills
Yeah.
and processing. Because we have people in your inbox, and it's not just me. I've seen it for all businesses.
Yeah.
Businesses, the answer will be right in front of them,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
go into the inbox and
And
ask a question
Yeah.
that's right in front of them
Right.
because they literally are dropping pieces of information because they can't
They
process
can't
everything.
process, right? But the answer's right there in front of you, and it's like,
Yeah.
yo, like, oh, what does that do? There
Right.
is this such thing as the internet. You can go look.
You can easily Google anything,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But you can't put those pieces together.
Mhm,
And that's not
mhm.
always 100% of the case. Sometimes it's just people want your attention because again, they want to use that a way to be able to get to you and talk to you because they feel like it's you. And for me, when I was dealing with anxiety and panic attacks like that, all this stuff didn't exist like it does in turn. Google wasn't as all the stuff that you can Google now
Yeah.
and the information you can pull up and the stats you can pull up,
Yeah.
like it wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was able to find all the stuff that you see at inception through what? It comes to me. I search for it. I
Right.
seek for it.
Because you're a seeker.
I'm a seeker, and that's
Man,
why we
if you're
call it the
feeling
seekers, right?
Right. I mean, when you're feeling awful, I would seek you out. I was
Yeah.
living in different states, and I
Mm.
still come home and seek you out. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I need to feel better.
Right.
Like I'm coming to brain train because I need to feel better.
Yeah.
But they're seekers. There's a difference between whatever that is and the
But
seekers.
remember too, you didn't have the same level of stimulus that these people have now.
Right.
So these people's brains are not
Yeah.
in the same place. Like I guarantee you, like the amount of stimulus since 2007.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a specific number, and I don't want to quote it because I'm gonna be off. But the amount of stimulus that has increased from that time to this time,
Oh, it's exponential.
exponential growth.
Yeah. And it's gonna keep doing that more and more.
We talking about probably Google
Yeah.
bites.
Yeah. Yeah.
As Billy always calls Google bites.
Right.
I didn't know it was a Google bite. Like,
It's
oh, a
like
Google bite.
Google is a number. Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really,
like a
really,
Google
really
bite
large
of
number.
information.
Yeah.
And so now the information from 2007 to now, from now 2021 to let's say the next 10 years,
Mhm.
we're going into virtual reality land,
Right. Right.
right?
And it's already. It's
And
already.
it's
just-
more in stimulus.
and it's so sad. Like I was out to dinner with somebody and I was looking around, and over to this table to the left of me.
Mm,
On their phones.
Yeah.
A girl and a guy sitting across from each other on their phones, head down like this. This table over here, just sitting like this. The kid's on his phone, the other kid's on the pad, and the
mm.
parents are just sitting there like this, and the dad's just, he picked up his phone, put his phone back. Like, there's no,
Yeah.
you
There's
know?
no communication.
no.
Well, people would send me messages through text message like that's a very emotionally charged subject that we need to talk about probably in person, and you would send it through text message, and I would say, please don't text
Oh,
message
yeah.
me, or
Yeah.
don't even leave me a voice message.
Yeah.
Call me.
Right. Well, you lose like a specific percentage.
55% of communication is
Yeah,
body language.
Body language.
39%
right.
is
Tone of voice,
tonality.
Tone of voice. Right.
7% is words.
Yeah. So you lose all that.
I
when
don't know
you're
if that math
texting.
adds up, but it's around those numbers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
7% words.
Yeah.
You're trying to communicate with 7%.
That happened to us this morning because you missed
Yeah,
a
'cause
word.
I missed
You
one
missed a-
word.
one little word, one letter. It
One
was
letter,
one
what even
letter.
word?
Right.
You.
You were like, don't have no. I was like, I don't have the attitude.
Yo, I thought you had an attitude because you was like,
Well, fix it then.
fix it then.
Yeah.
Not okay. Can you fix it then?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Totally
but
different.
You missed it.
I
You
missed
said
that word.
You.
Yeah, you.
So
it wasn't even a
fix it
word
then.
because you
Right.
because you didn't pipe YOU. It was just a
Right.
letter.
It was just a letter. Right.
And so I was like, damn, why she got
Fix
an
it then.
attitude?
You're
You was like,
yeah, I can fix it, but don't have no attitude. I was like, I don't have an attitude.
and guess what? I didn't even say it in that. I didn't even say it in that tone of voice.
You see?
But see how you process it? Don't have no attitude.
Yeah, and that's how I processed it. And I was
Right.
like, well, now I got an attitude.
Yeah,
So,
and so then I read that in your voice. I was like, that's probably accurate in your voice. But now I got an attitude. I'm like, this is like useless, man. Like we're not communicating.
so stupid.
We're not communicating,
I
and
know.
people think that they're connecting and
And
communicating.
they're not, man. It's not. It's not
So
real.
it's all the way messed up,
It is. It is.
you know?
It's so backwards. It's like women these days, they're addicted to the attention, they're addicted to the likes and the comments.
Well,
And
what are men addicted to, I wonder?
I mean,
Cause I don't observe. Obviously I'm a man, so I don't
but you know what?
follow a bunch of men's pages. I follow things that add value to me. I consciously made this
Yeah.
intentful
Oh,
decision
yeah.
to fix my feed. And if you
Mhm.
listen, please fix your damn feed.
Right, because you're taking it all in, all of it.
So let me say this too, guys. Specifically to the men, stop clicking on women's profiles
Mm.
that you think is a baddie. Because what's going to happen is the algorithm is going to send you more of that.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed my Explorer page, and this is a hack you can do
Mm.
to fix your feed. The Explorer page, I highlighted. I didn't double click, but you hold it down, and then another box pops up, and it says "not interested in this." So when I went to my Explorer page, I had a bunch of just bad chicks all in my thing, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I, I'm my mind is blown.
Mm.
So before I finish my thought, back in the day, Jet Magazine,
Mm.
the beauty of the week,
Mhm.
it was
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
And if I recall,
Yeah.
Jet Magazine only came out once a month. So
Mhm.
you saw the beauty of the week once a month.
Yeah, there used to be model magazines even. Those were
Yeah, but you didn't just walk around with them in
No.
your hand scrolling on them,
Right,
right?
right. Mm-mm.
So that amount of stimulus from then to now
Yeah. Whew.
that you just scrolling
Yeah.
on chick after chick, and let me be
Oh,
clear, they're
man.
not chicks. Y'all know what I mean? It's the culture. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't trigger. Trigger
Trigger
warning.
warning.
Women, okay?
Yeah.
If I was hungry
Mm-hmm.
and I went to a restaurant and stood in front of the buffet, and all I can do is stand there and look at it,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think that does for me? I never like going to strip clubs. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, why? These are glorified salesmen people.
Right,
They don't
right.
like me for me.
Right, right. It's all fake.
I don't even
right.
want that stimulation because it's fake.
Right, right.
So I don't want the stimulation of scrolling on all these women
Mm-hmm.
who I have no intentions of ever meeting.
Right, right.
And even if I did, probably would never meet.
Yeah.
So what does my brain have to do though? So I'm constantly got a dopamine hit of
Right.
arousal.
Right.
Men have erectile dysfunction
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because the constant dopamine
Right.
burnout.
Right. Right.
And now, again, I said this in the other podcast. Out of the 10 top websites in the world, 3 of them are actual porn,
Yeah.
triple X porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sexual exhaustion is a real thing, dudes.
Yeah.
You can't ejaculate every day and think
No.
that you're gonna be able to
No.
perform
Right.
during sex.
Right.
Your energy, your life force is
Life
all out your
force is
body.
done. Right. Right.
And then you wonder why you got depression.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wonder why you sad. I got men in my inbox when I talked about this. They start popping in. Of course you start popping in. The top 10 websites, 3 of them are porn. Guess who
Yeah,
watching it?
right.
Women don't watch porn as much as men.
Yeah.
Not saying that they don't, because they do, because they now jump on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of women are watching porn.
Mm-hmm.
And remember porn movies, like they used to make porn movies, right?
Mhm,
Like real
mhm.
movies,
Like real
like a
movie.
scenario and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah,
right?
back 90s,
Like,
yeah.
now
90s
it's like
porn.
this. Now they have these things that are like YouTube for porn.
Mm.
So anybody can make a porn and upload them and
Yeah.
get
Oh,
subscribers. And
gosh.
then you have what OnlyFans and things of that nature.
OnlyFans, right.
It's like, dude, like, listen, that's not going to be helpful. That's not resourceful. Again, not about good or bad.
Right, right. It's just not
Resourceful,
resourceful.
unresourceful.
Right.
That's unresourceful.
Yeah, and it's so bad for your systems in your body when you're ejaculating all the time. Like your testosterone, you don't have any of that anymore.
And
Like,
if we talk about testosterone, so we
Ooh-wee.
talking about micro
Ooh.
toxins and
Mhm,
plastics.
mhm.
Men's testosterone have been dipping since
Yeah.
the 50s to now.
Yeah.
Every year, I think like a percentage or
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
I think it's been exponential in the past 10, 20. So, I mean, like, and now you have so many more boys that are, very, very hetero, very, very, because their testosterone levels are low. And duh. I mean, now that in middle school, now they have Instagram. I mean, OnlyFans. These middle schoolers can get on OnlyFans. Like, and now
Yeah.
they have, social media.
Hey, back in the day, they had a section at the video store. It was the beaded section. They had
I remember
they
that.
had beads. Like you know what's behind the
there.
bead section.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what you
yeah.
had. Now, even if your parents have this parental stuff, like you don't think kids are smart enough to get around that?
Yeah. Right.
I can't imagine seeing some of this stuff
Mm.
that we see
Yo.
at those ages, and you're starting to see it consistently, and you normalizing it.
Man.
The brain is a mess.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's so sad too. I mean, we've talked about this on live before, but these kids, right? So you're shoving these screens at these kids and at young ages because now, parents, oh my God, it's we got to work. So now,
Yeah.
like, oh, get out my face, right? To the
Yeah.
kids, here, just take my phone, take the pad, and go over there and sit down. But now, what is that doing to the kids? I saw literally he wasn't even 3 yet, almost 3 years old, on the phone
Can't even
playing,
talk.
can't even talk, playing a shooting game.
Mm-hmm.
What is that doing to his brain? And this is the first generation of that. So we haven't had time to evolve.
No. It's, you never want to be the first generation of
gosh.
anything that's new.
Yo,
Because
I
it
see
takes how many years to evolve?
Oh,
Thousands?
I mean, hundreds at least. Hundreds
Yeah.
at least. But I even see it with Gabe, Like I'll take the pad away and freak out. Like doesn't know what to do because
the brain.
stimulus,
Yeah.
your brain is looking for that amount of stimulus, that amount of dopamine that's giving you. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. And now you don't have it. So now it's like a drug. It's
Yeah.
the drug.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like,
So, as a kid, you learn. I had this conversation with my mom. I said, when we were younger, we couldn't just eat all the chocolate we wanted. We couldn't just eat all the donuts we wanted. We couldn't just watch all the TV. They had TV guides back in the day.
yeah.
And I said this to my mom, and she started cracking up. And I said, used to circle what we could watch in the TV guide. She said, you remember that? I said, she was cracking up. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Used to circle what we can watch in the TV guide because she was safeguarding my mind and my consciousness, right? And back then, when you're a kid, you just think, why are you trying to stop me from doing what the other people are doing? Because they're having fun, and I can't have fun because I can't watch da-da-da-da-da. Now I'm like, man, it just was a different generation. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just now it's exponentially increased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when Cartoon Network came out? We can watch cartoons all day. And when it first came out, they didn't have cartoons you want to watch, so you didn't watch it all day.
Right,
But
right.
you watch cartoons after school. It was
Yeah.
like from 2:30 the earliest
Saturday
to
morning
5
cartoons.
o'clock.
You remember Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah.
I would be so excited for my weekly dose of Saturday morning cartoons.
You can't have excitement towards things anymore because
No.
you're overwhelmed with stimulus,
Yeah.
and it just feels like you should just have all this amount of stimulus. So back to that thing about my mom teaching us moderation, and our parents, they taught us that so that you can learn how to self-regulate and self-soothe so that when you get older, and now that you're older and you get out on your first time, you can go buy the Cinnabons. You can go buy 3 packs of Cinnabons and eat them all, and you get sick.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, no wonder my parents didn't want me to do this. This wasn't good for me, but I didn't have enough contrast
yeah,
and
yeah.
awareness to know
Yeah.
that that's what was going to happen. Now I got the contrast.
Mhm.
Guess what? We don't have the contrast because we've been cooked in the pot. Frog in the pot syndrome. You've heard of that
yeah.
before?
Yep.
When you gradually you put a frog in a pot, and we don't do
Mhm.
this PETA and whoever. We ain't putting frogs in pots and killing frogs. But put a frog in a pot and you gradually turn it up 1 degree
Yeah.
by 1 degree.
Mhm.
You get to boiling point and that frog
It stays
becomes
there.
cooked in a pot and never
Cooked.
knew because it just adapted.
Adapted, right.
So
right.
we're adapting to this normalcy and we have zero contrast.
Right. Right.
So we don't know that we're jumping off a cliff
Yeah.
because we've always been on the cliff.
Right. Exactly.
We've gradually etched towards it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we have no contrast and we have no ability to self-regulate.
Mhm.
So it's so normal to get on there and just scroll your life away.
Scroll your life, man. I saw this person we both know scrolling. I think it was like 2 hours. I'm like on TikTok.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
how are you? How? Ugh.
No.
But my brain can't go there.
But once you come out of the stimulation matrix, again, it's all different types of matrix. We talked about the trauma matrix. We talked about the rat race matrix. And now we're talking about the stimulation matrix where you're just stuck in addiction.
Yeah.
You need to come back off the cliff to gain some contrast and some
Yeah.
clarity so you can
Mhm.
see you actually feel better when everything is a reward or a treat versus just like this is normalcy to have this reward all the time.
Yeah. Right.
It was a
Right.
treat. I went down that rabbit hole just to talk about Saturday morning cartoons. It felt good, because you had no school
Mm-hmm.
and you can watch cartoons, and it even wasn't all day.
Yeah.
By the time 11:30 came
Right.
over,
It
it
was
started
done.
switching over,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
you had
Just
contrast.
a little.
Now you can get on Netflix. You can watch. You can go from app to app, and you can watch whatever you want all day, every day.
Yeah. There's so much of it. It's so confusing for me. I swear to God, like I don't like to even. It's too much that I just shut it all out. Like I can't
Mm.
even deal with it. Like I don't even want to find a movie because I know I'm gonna be looking for 2 hours. And then I'm gonna go back to what my brain is comfortable with and
Yeah.
is familiar, and I'm just gonna watch something that I always watch. I
But what happens when you binge these shows and you're
Mm.
done now? When
Mm.
you're done with the binge, you feel so. Oh, that's it.
Right.
Oh man, I
Mm.
can't wait to the next.
Yeah.
Like you can't wait to the next, but there's hundreds of other shows that you can watch, and and I don't, because
Yeah.
I feel overwhelmed. So
Yeah.
I'd rather just go to sleep.
Man,
You know.
I was together with some of my real estate agents back a couple years ago, and we were in Florida, and I took them all to Florida, and I'm literally we're driving down the street next to the ocean, and I'm looking around and I'm looking at the beauty of being there because I was fucking Michigan winter
Right.
compared to Florida beauty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at her and I'm looking at him, and they're not even paying attention to the beauty outside, the ocean. They're so concerned
Yeah.
with their phones and social. I'm like, that this isn't real.
Yeah.
You're living through these devices. It's not real.
Yeah.
You're not living through real life anymore. Like,
Wonder if they did a study to show the difference between locations though.
mm,
Because every time I go to South Florida, and I've lived there for 6 years, I'm like, ooh,
mm,
I'm so happy to be home.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I feel, and I was sharing this with a friend yesterday, where I lived at, and a lot of my friends, they're from South America and they're from the Caribbean,
mm,
and they're more slowed down than
mhm,
us.
mhm,
Now that may have changed.
mhm,
Man, I'm talking about when I was 2001 to
yeah,
2006, 7,
mhm,
right? So this might have changed, but when I was there, like they're more chill, they're
mhm,
more relaxed.
yeah,
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 man, like chill, relax.
right, right,
Even when the hustle is not Michigan hustle,
yeah,
it's not Detroit hustle. Detroit even got a statement.
yeah,
Detroit hustles harder.
yeah,
We grind. We grinders. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be known for that.
right, right.
And as much as I shout out to Tommy Walker and the versus everybody, but I don't want to be verse everybody.
Mhm.
I get what he's saying,
Mhm.
but a lot of people may take that the wrong way. I don't want to be verse everybody
Mhm. Right.
because I feel like something's always against me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like everything is against me. I don't want to live like Tupac, me against the world. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm. We need to learn to cooperate to be able to live cohesively together to benefit everyone.
Yeah.
We need to learn to work
So,
together.
and saying that and living in South Florida, man, those people embrace me.
Mm.
The Caribbean embrace me.
Yeah.
Like South Americans, they embrace me.
Yeah. Well, you notice here, everyone has an attitude most of the time. I mean, not everybody, but a lot. I mean, you pull up to a fast food joint or just somewhere, you go to the post office somewhere. Everyone, what do you want?
Yeah.
Compared to like in California, when I used to live in California, oh, hello, how are you doing today? What would you
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
It's different. It's a different energy. It's a different energy.
My friend tried to get me. She wanted me to come out to California because she's like, David, they don't accept you and respect you there. And I thought through that. I processed through that. But I said, if I'm not gonna do what I do here, then I don't deserve to do it anywhere. I need to bring what we do to here.
Yeah.
And we see that change of here. But
Mhm.
I just brought all that up to talk about, just different places. Like how, like in South Florida, I wonder, did the kids there, are they on social media as much because they can go outside. In the wintertime here, what you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, no. See,
You
back
think it's
in the
backwards?
wintertime, no, back in the wintertime when
We
I
used
was
to go
a kid,
outside too.
we used to go outside. I used to
Yeah,
make
and
snow angels
snowmans,
and snowmen and sledding. I was outside all the time
Yeah.
because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
There was no other choice.
But it's still different down there where
Yeah.
they get to go outside in the sun all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like in the wintertime now, it's easier not to go outside and to stay on the tablet or
Yeah.
the whatever,
Right,
than
right.
it is to go out and be in the cold. Now we're like, ooh, I don't go out.
See,
Now,
I think
now we
it's
bougie.
still-
We don't.
I mean, think about it though. Like, I don't see kids playing as much. Now there are, but I don't see kids playing outside as much, even during the spring, summer.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
used to back in the
No,
day.
that's true.
Like it's just
The video games. I mean, back in the day, when even when we played video games, we would play
mm,
video games for an hour, and we look outside, and it'd be so sunny and so
right.
warm.
You
We
want
like,
to go
man, let's go play
outside.
ball.
Right. And I remember like those feelings of just being outside and not, but it's changed.
So again, they're never going to have that contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sad.
They're putting we talking about put a tablet in front of kids. I remember those little keys, little plastic keys they get a little baby, and the little baby play
Yeah.
with the little keys. Now they playing with a phone
With a
digitally and
phone,
scrolling.
right? They
Like
know how to
what?
work. They know how to work an iPhone better than my mama know how to work an
Don't even know
iPhone.
how to tie their shoes.
Yeah, right.
But they working with a tablet.
Yeah, know
they
how to
they
unlock a
search.
phone.
They don't even know how to read or write, but they searching on YouTube.
Oh, God, it's so
They know how to
bad.
spell that, right?
Man, it's really sad, and you see it even with adults. Like, like be on vacation with people, and still just
The
hitting
vacation is not about the vacation. The
no.
vacation is about the content.
Yeah, the content
get
and
the
showing.
dopamine.
Right. To
Right,
show.
yeah.
Ooh, well, I'm here, so I'm gonna show that I'm here doing.
We were in California. It
Yeah.
was my first time in California. I took pictures. I didn't even post anything.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed like, oh, we here.
Right. The
And
present moment. The
too,
present moment.
the Vice shoot that we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Like I got mad footage from that Vice shoot, and it was like, wow, man, like they're filming a documentary about my life.
Yeah.
And at one point, you remember we didn't know if they were going to release it,
Right.
and I didn't care.
Right.
I was like, I had the
The
experience.
experience.
That's
yeah.
what all that matters.
Exactly.
Is the experience.
And that's what we're missing. We're missing real deep connected relationships, real deep connected conversation with each other.
Right.
Because we're so concerned about what content we're going to catch, what picture, and how perfect we need to look at this picture, and how many likes we're going to get and comments we're going to get on this picture that we post on social media.
Yeah.
We're missing what's real, tangible, form, right?
Yeah.
Here, now, which is the only thing that is actually real.
That's why, when I'm around people, if I'm pull out my phone around you, probably because I don't feel
You're
like you got
bored.
nothing of substance to say to me.
Yeah, I know you do that a lot. You do that. I be catching you. I be catching you do that.
I know
Like,
you.
he bored.
You told me. And I'm like, but they're not investing anything worthwhile to me, at that moment. And
And
it's
we're all
not
guilty
and it's
of
not
it. It's not
always like that
bad.
either. It's not
Right.
always like that either. But because something may pop up with the business, but that's still no excuse. I want to get away,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
and
What's the escape?
and speaking of getting away,
Mhm.
so my friend Hakeem, I grew up with, best friend. I don't use the term best friend, but everybody know that's my dude. Like 6 years old, he's gone from social media, and I called him. I talked to him about it. I said, "How does it feel now that you're not on social media?" He said, "Man, I feel great.
Yeah.
I want to know what that feels like for my
Yeah.
brain.
Right.
I want my brain back.
Man, I wonder what it would feel like.
You would
wonder.
feel."
Yeah.
Because what do we talk about? The experience. Because the
Yeah.
dopamine, the constant dopamine, it just coated your body with that constant feeling.
Right.
So again, if you don't
now
have
you gotta get it
contrast,
from that, right? And then you can't get
Yeah.
it from your everyday experience.
now again, during the pandemic, we did get it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
We got it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I wasn't on social like that.
Right,
I wouldn't.
right.
My
No.
engagement dropped
Oh, mine
horribly.
too. Right. Yeah.
And I would post here and there,
Mhm.
but I wasn't like we do now.
Right.
It'll come to a place where I can outsource. And I
Yeah.
probably could do it now. Just outsource people, posting for us. But
Mhm.
I found another option too is I can use the Facebook manager app where you can just post
Yeah. And set up like whenever.
instead of scroll.
Yeah.
You can do that, or you can unfollow everybody, which most people are not going to do because the strategy of
Right.
getting people is following people. I don't
Right.
think it's a good strategy. I think if you add value, then people want what you have. It don't
Right.
matter if
Right.
they giving you anything in return.
Yeah,
They want
yeah.
more what you have.
Yeah.
So, but Hakeem, he's just been off
Mm.
for probably almost a year.
Wow. Yeah.
But
He feels
then I
great.
asked you, and I had to ask him, and I'm going to have this conversation with him. So, what did you fill it
Feel
with?
it with. Right. What
Because
did you feel it with?
did you go from social media scrolling, and now you just watching binging
No,
Netflix?
literally. That's what I did during the pandemic. I got off social media, I think, for like 2 weeks. And I went over to Pokemon Go.
Mm.
I started
Oh yeah,
playing
yeah. You and
Pokemon
Gabe
Go.
were like doing mad Pokemon searches,
Yeah,
right?
yep. But at least, I mean, that was better for me at that time because I was spending more time with him and just interacting with him, and we were outside. That's why I picked that game, because we could walk around and be outside and do things outside. Because oh my
At
God,
least it was blended,
yeah,
blended reality.
right. It's just really hard, right? It was blended reality, but it's hard to get these kids to go outside these days.
You know what I'm scared of too is I look at people driving and looking at it,
Mm,
and I'm
yo,
like, yo, could y'all implement
I used to be
automated
guilty.
cars
I used to be
sooner than
guilty.
I would trust an automated car
Yeah.
more than I
But
trust
think about it.
a
That's
person.
how addicted people are
Yeah,
that they're gonna put their life in danger to check a Facebook status. You know what I mean?
right.
Like that's where our mental health is at. That's where
Yeah,
our consciousness is at. Like let's do better, guys. Like
that. Yeah. Well, the people who listen to this may be guilty, may not be guilty. Most people who are guilty of those things don't have the consciousness to even listen to this type of content. Just like the people who go and leave super negative comments and dislike your post
oh
don't
yeah,
have the consciousness in the space. It's all about
that's projection,
resources.
right?
We talking about emotional bank account. We're talking about the emotional currency. We're talking about the how you want to call it, attention currency. We use the term pay attention.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Because you pay for everything you give attention to.
Right, right,
You're paying
right.
a price.
Mm-hmm.
It's your attention,
Yeah,
and it's valuable.
right.
Your attention, if you create an intention
Yeah.
and you place your attention on your intention, you manifest.
Right, right.
You
Right.
can't manifest if your attention is not on your intention.
Right, and you're incongruent.
And
yeah.
that makes you incongruent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one good thing that I can say about myself is, man, I put on tunnel vision. I put on blinders
Yeah.
like a horse. Horses when they race,
Mhm.
they put those blinders on so they can't see the other horses.
Yep.
Because if they see the other horses, they freak out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That blinding,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm staying tunnel vision on what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But I easily could see where, and it's times I see it and my brain processes it, but I know that keep on track is you can see other people doing successful things. You can see their bank account growing and you want to go and do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're off your intention
Mm-hmm.
because your attention was on somebody else.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you're leaving comments and negative comments and dislikes, what is your attention on?
Mm-hmm.
That energy and that social energy, that social currency could be placed on your intention.
Right. Right.
But you take the time to I'm not just talking about write a comment and fire, nothing like that. No, you write paragraphs
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on people's stuff. You know
Yeah.
why? Because you're triggered.
Yeah. No, it's a trigger, and then think about what Wayne Dyer says. What happens when you squeeze a lemon
Well, orange.
or orange?
Well,
yeah.
same thing.
Lemon,
Well,
right.
whatever's on the inside is gonna come out of you. So no
Exactly.
matter who does the squeezing.
Exactly.
So if it's anger on the inside of you, I don't care who does the squeezing. Anger is gonna come out of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
There was a girl that I know every time watch my stories, every time I could feel the energy and couldn't wait to get triggered by something so they could write a whole 10-page paragraph of why you doing something wrong.
Right.
Squeeze you. What's inside of you,
Yeah.
honey?
Yeah.
You know?
Nobody wants to. Why? And then too, I don't look at people's pages who I feel like
Right, triggered
don't.
by.
I don't want to say don't resonate with.
Right, right. Oh no, I don't at all.
Why
ever,
would I? Why would I
ever.
like again? You're paying attention and you're losing your ability to manifest because your attention is on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you. It just
Right.
but see, it triggers you to do what? To strengthen
Mm-hmm.
the offense
Right.
in you.
Right.
You just are strengthening the offense
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why you
Yeah.
feel the way you feel and to
Yeah.
try to validate the way
Right.
you feel. Well,
What
you can
put
feel
attention
that
on
way, but why
grows.
stay that way?
Right, right. What you put your attention on grows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just gonna keep on growing and growing. And if you're the person that goes and trolls these pages
Yeah.
and chooses to get offended by everything that you read, and then you want to write 10-page paragraphs on what somebody's doing wrong,
Yeah.
your attention there is growing. That's in your body.
What you seek is seeking you.
Mm.
And the funny thing about this, we talked about Billy, when Billy was on the show, we talked about fractals, Billy Carson. We talked about fractals. This is a fractal.
Mhm.
Social media works, the algorithm works. I mean, obviously it works a lot faster, but it works very similar than the laws of the universe. Whatever you put your attention on, if you go outside and you say, I'm going to look for 10 red Mustangs, guess what you're going to look and see?
Right.
Mustangs.
right.
Red Mustangs.
Yep. Yep.
Because you're telling
Now
yourself,
you're
you set an intention and you're now looking your attention
your
to look
attention.
for it.
Right, right.
So if you go and that's why I tell guys, stop looking at the women, these women, because guess what? They're gonna flood your inbox or your pages, your
Right.
Explorer page with
Right.
what? More of that. What you seek is seeking you.
Yep.
Fix your feed.
Yeah.
Change it. Use it towards your advantage. I mean, my page looked like a bunch of people healing.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's all I talk about.
Mine's math and science. That's it.
Yeah.
Math and science.
But that's all I talk about is healing. And I wanted to make sure I thought to myself one day, I talk about trauma a lot. And I thought about it. And it's like, but you talk about the solutions.
The solutions for trauma. You're not just trauma.
There's people out here that
people.
just trauma.
This sucks. This
But
right.
what we going to do about it?
Exactly.
We just going to sit and talk about trauma over and over and over?
No.
You're not like trauma. Let me finish my thought. Trauma is a part of life.
Yeah.
My dad, I told him I wanted to go out on the golf course with him again because I used to go out with him, and he's like, man, I see some crazy stuff in nature. I said, yeah, like what? He said, man, one time I saw a hawk go into a bird's nest and grab a baby bird and fly off, and then all these birds was going to attack that hawk, right? And I was like, damn, man. And remember I told you, I said, man, nature is brutal.
Yeah.
Nature don't care. Nature will wipe you off the face of the map. It would do an
an
earthquake, a hurricane, knock you off the map.
Yeah.
That's trauma, right?
Yep.
But life goes on. Life goes
Always.
on. We can't get around trauma. We're
Mm-mm.
all going to experience trauma, and we all have had it. And if you sit there and you say you haven't never experienced trauma, you soft, first of all.
Yeah,
Your
right.
and I don't
Your
mean that
nervous
in like that
system is
old
a-
90s, you soft, you weak. No,
No.
your nervous system's not developed.
Right. Yeah.
Trauma
It's not.
and surviving it and regulating and coming
That's
back,
real power. That's
that's
strength.
where growth
Mhm.
happens.
Yep.
We do that when we go to the gym. We're gonna lift weights. We're gonna help cause hypertrophy to the muscles.
Yep.
And the muscle's gonna grow, right?
Yep,
That's
yep.
trauma. That's an
Mhm.
adaptation. If your nervous system never experienced anything,
Soft.
you got a weak, inflexible nervous system.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now when something traumatic, and I've experienced this with people, nothing's traumatic or they've been shielded
Yeah.
from everything.
Right. And then they're out
Now
on
they
their
have
own now.
anxiety.
Right. Now
Yeah.
you got kids that have been shielded, that their parents have shielded them their whole lives. I know exactly, man. And they still live with their parents because they cannot function
Yeah.
in society. It's
So on we talk about too the algorithms of oppression. We black people, we know we've been oppressed.
yeah.
How much time do we want to keep viewing that?
Right.
When 9/11 happened, my mom, who's a social worker and a therapist, she told me, David, watch it once, watch it twice, turn it off after that. Because the brain doesn't know what's the difference between what's real and what's fake.
Right. And now and past
And now
and
it has no
future
concept of time.
None.
So the more you observe something, the more you're strengthening the neural network.
Yeah, exactly.
Neurons that fire together wire together.
Yep, exactly.
So we know
You
that
watching
black
the
people
news,
have been oppressed. We know that black people have been shot by the police unjustly and all these different things.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I remember Malice Green. Not Rodney King. We remember Rodney King. I remember Malice Green. Most people don't know about Malice Green. He was killed. Rodney King lived. He's from Detroit, Malice Green. I remember seeing that as a kid. How much do you want me to see that?
Right.
To now program my mind that I'm not safe by
Right.
any police.
Yeah.
Because that's not always the truth. There's both realities exist at the same time with everything.
Exactly.
There's bad cops.
Yeah.
There's good cops.
What you seek is seeking you.
There's
Ooh.
bad pastors.
Yeah.
There's good pastors. Good people can do bad things. Bad people can do good things.
Yeah. There's balance. There's polarity.
That
there's
all
duality
exists. That all
in this
exists. The
dimension.
question is, what do you want to continue to place your focus on? And for me, I needed to solve a problem with my own mental health issues. My consciousness couldn't stay on the issues itself. It had to be focused on becoming whole. If you want to create something that floats, you don't place your attention on things that don't float.
Right.
That's a
Right.
Wayne Dyer quote.
Right. I love him. I love him.
we're talking about stimulus porn because the reason is what you constantly look at is
It grows.
mass hypnosis.
Yeah. You're being conditioned by everything that you pay attention to.
Yeah.
You're being
They like,
conditioned to it.
oh, you like watching police kill black men?
Yeah.
Well, now let's show it all in your feed.
Right. Yeah.
That's bring it all up.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just what you pay attention to is going to expand and grow. And that's what you're going to pay attention and see in your life. And then it's going to manifest in your life because that's where your attention is going. So you better believe that you should put your attention on something where you want your life to be. And the energy that you want to
right.
have.
And if you feel like, again, these social issues, if you feel like that's something of you that you feel like you want to go and to change and correct, find the solution. Focus on the solution.
Right.
Black people, we suffer from codependency to a white supremacist system. The goal is not to keep asking them to help us. Can you please stop being narcissistic to me? Because that's what it is. It's a narcissistic system.
Yeah.
If you're in an abusive relationship, do you keep trying to get your oppressor to heal you?
Right. Ooh, right.
Or you focus on what's the real solution?
Right.
You getting your ass out of that situation and healing.
Right. Healing. You going inward and doing your own work.
So
creating your own system separate.
Inception. That's my system. And that's what I can focus on.
Yep.
And I will connect with people who are advocating for us to have safety in our communities. Safety from, yes, the police force and things of that nature. But come with the solutions.
Right.
Because and in order to do that and do it effectively, you cannot pay attention to a bunch of stimulus porn of things that you do not want to see.
That don't serve you. Right. And it just creates a whole emotional reaction in your body. And
you stay stuck.
Exactly.
Now you're stuck in the victim mode. You know?
Exactly. Take your power back.
That's what we have to do. We have to take our power back. And what is our power? Our attention is our power.
Right.
Intention and attention is our power.
Yeah.
And we lose it every time that we go and we just waste it.
Somebody else, right? And give it to things that don't
even serve you.
Anything. Yeah.
Don't add no value to you whatsoever.
0.
But you stayed on my page complaining and want to go back and forth in the comments about what?
Yeah.
Or you want to go on a YouTube channel and write your statement. These people are mentally, emotionally, they're damaged.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally.
They need to go within and heal themselves because all that is just, a projection of, their own insecurity or they're in love, like that.
Listen, there's a lot of times
line
that
between love and hate.
Yes, and there's a lot of times that I scroll across something I see, and I've had to condition myself. Shut up. Shut up. Because what am I really gonna get out of going and make the comment and that goes against what they're saying?
Right. I just can't even put my energy.
What is it gonna do?
What's the point of it? It just takes energy from you.
Would you walk in the street and walk up to a person? Yeah, I don't like that outfit you got on there.
Right.
I told you we're gonna make skits, and this is gonna be one of them. One of the skits we make is gonna be about people who act the behaviors we have on social media and do it real life and do it in real life and the consequences that happen in real life.
Right.
Oh, I have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of consequence.
Yeah. Right.
You're not gonna say the stuff that you really want to say to a certain person. They will knock your head off.
Oh, listen, we responded to a comment that wasn't so polite, and they just, where'd you go? And we had other people that were responding to that same rude comment. But where'd you go?
Because they didn't want that smoke after they got called out.
Exactly.
Because most times when people write a comment, I'll say something back just to create a boundary, and I don't do it for everybody because I don't want to waste my space on that.
Right.
But sometimes I'll do it just to let them know. Just like rude comments on our IG lives. People come in and
Oh
say something
yeah.
about
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, would you say that to her in person?
Right. Right. But
Like,
it's
what
like,
gives you the audacity to do that?
but it's people's own insecurities and it's people's own trauma and pain inside, so they need to project that outwardly to other people because that's what they're feeling. Like there's no part of me that can literally take my energy and go search for a fight with somebody and leave a rude comment or go into somebody's live and just start talking shit. I have no consciousness, like my consciousness won't allow me to do that. I don't have that inside of me. There's
Yeah.
zero of that inside of me.
Yeah.
So I mean, people that have that level of pain,
Yeah.
where they need to just push it upon other people, hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth.
And I said,
And
if you
healed people heal people.
right. And if you want a quick way to lose your level of peace, go into the comment section. It could be they could post a video of kittens,
Right.
and people thumbs down it.
Right.
Kittens,
Yeah.
but that lets you know what energy pattern they're in.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and that lets
that's
you
your
know
lens.
that they
Your
have
lens is
they're
negative.
they're bankrupt in terms of positive emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they stay stuck in the negative emotion cycle. So everything they see is negative.
Right.
You ever heard half glass,
Yeah.
half full,
Yep.
half
Yep.
empty,
Mhm.
optimist, pessimist? You
Yep.
got a lot of pessimists,
A
but
ton.
really what you really have is a highly traumatized,
Being.
poor programmed society.
Yep.
And I posted something, it was 6 years ago, and I reposted it the other day. I said, I wonder is the comment section in other countries as bad as they are here?
I think most places it's probably.
And I'm not saying that every comment needs to be can't be somewhat critical of certain things. But why?
Yeah. It just was the point.
Again, let's take back our power,
Mm-hmm.
which is our
Attention.
attention,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't even know what their intentions are.
Well, you guys should figure out what your intention for this
Well,
life is
you
and put your attention
well,
there.
no, you can't. They can't figure out their intentions because their intentions is what everybody else is doing. You know, Wayne Dyer. We mentioned his name so much today. I don't know why. It's just maybe you're present. I don't know,
I
but
love him.
but he's power of and we're talking about power of intention. Look, that's why it's coming up so much. That my brain is already. that was one of my favorite books,
Yeah.
Power of Intention.
Oh yeah, read
and
that,
that was
guys.
so important for me.
Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention.
Power of Intention. So, what you put your attention on grows, but he talked about knowing what you really, 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 really want. And when you get down to what people really want with all this social media stuff and all the stimulus, and when you start to really ask the question what you're really trying to get to. I asked you this question too. And I asked you about the pictures that we're posting, right? Because you come from the model industry. And the model industry, like if you've been in that, you're used to posting sexy pictures. It's not that you're a bad person. That just, that was your industry. That's what you're used to. But I asked you a question. What are you really trying to get from it? What do you really want from it? And when you talk about it and you break it down, you're like, I just want this. And it's always what? It's always an emotion.
The feeling. It's the feeling that you get.
But where are those feelings created?
Right, within you. So recreate those feelings without having to use the stimulus to create the feelings.
I said it
Period.
on somebody else. I said it on the Retired Hood Rap Morning Show with T Barb
Yeah.
and Joe.
Yeah.
And I said how as a kid, I remember that I love Transformers, and we used to look at the J.C. Penney's book as a kid, like because the J.C. Penney's book that had a ton of toys in there, right? And I remember they had Transformers in there as a black kid growing up in the 80s. You love Transformers or G.I. Joe or one of the two, but they had Transformers in there. So I decided to cut the Transformers out and to play with the Transformers, the cutouts. And I felt amazing. I remember the feeling.
Yeah.
I felt amazing.
Yeah.
And so I obviously as an adult, I said, well, what's the difference between me playing with those paper cutout Transformers, they're pieces of paper, and the ones that you actually buy?
Yeah.
My brain did not know the difference between the two because all I wanted was the feeling.
Right. So that's what it is.
So I always think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remove the middleman
Yep.
between my emotions.
Right. Right.
And
So
the
you don't-
thing that's stuck between my emotions right now in this world of social media is all of that stuff that you think that you want because everybody else is doing it and it's mass hypnosis, and you think if I have that,
Right.
then
I'll
I
be,
can
then I'll be happy.
then I'll
If
be
I have
happy.
that, then I'll be happy. Yeah, really moral of the story is, you create all these emotions and these feelings within you anyways. So cut out the middleman and make yourself happy without needing the stimulus. Moral of the story.
And that's it, everybody. We're done. We're out. Peace.
That's it. Peace out.
Mic drop.
Hey.
You've been listening to the Inner Wealth Podcast on EYL with David and Elizabeth. Theme song produced by Be Ready for West Coast Creations. I am Raz Cass, reminding you to take action, be proactive, be congruent, get out of the matrix, get your mind right. We've automated mental health at inception. Join the movement. Inner Wealth Podcast. Inner Wealth Podcast. Inner Wealth Podcast.